Okie dokie, so Ben here, and I'm gonna be making this video that kinda is about animation. So what I'm hoping to do with this is kinda present kind of the methods used to at least get to an animation part. Like let me find this. See, Mega Productions. Concept art, and I don't know what to call the other reality. I just called it the end, like Minecraft. And so I'm just going to explain how you can make a video at least of something animated, more or less. And you can just paint it like you see in the background. I already painted this stuff. I'll explain what I plan to do with that for this video. But let's see. So here's the video. I think we're in some serious trouble now. Okay, how do I get out of here now? Me leave. I'd like to go away from here. Close window. Okay, so now I'm not going to be explaining exactly how I went about making all the sound effects and doing that. And I'm not also going to explain anything too advanced with the animation. I'm just going to kind of give it an example of just step by step going from something to putting it into some type of animation thing and getting into a video. Now, my process is a bit lengthy and may not be the best. It probably isn't the best. And that's because I'm having to work around with limitations with my computer. I'm using Windows 10 technical preview, and it doesn't have all the drivers, and I was having issues, and that's why but anyway, so I made that a one concept art thing, and then I kind of animated parts of it. And to do that, you make like some type of drawing, and you also have to break it up into parts. And with computers, at least, one advantage is you can easily work with layers, such as I have painted this tumbleweed. It's supposed to be a tumbleweed. This is supposed to be ground or a road or something, I don't know. And I'm going to animate it with the weed rolling across the ground, but the camera is going to follow and look at the weed, and it's going to, like, the cactus is going to pass by in the background, but it's going to go slower than the road to give kind of like a sense of distance with it. Actually, I might paint the sky too. Give it some clouds. So I had to make sure I click the sky layer, brush. And I'm not going to animate the clouds like differently or anything, not to make them any fancy. I'm just going to make them part of the background. Nothing too fancy. Let's see. What's a good thing? Does this look cool? That looks cool. So you can see, because it's a layer, that if I have a layer on top of another cactus, or the cactus is in a group. See? Boop, boop, it's got a, okay, with GIMP, I'm used to the shadow effect acting or behaving differently. I might edit it with GIMP. I like GIMP. Also, all the programs I use are completely free. Now, the one program, I have GIMP 2.8. That's my favorite program in the world. It's basically Photoshop, and it's second best to Photoshop, so that should be enough. Maybe give a bit of haze. Okay, that's gonna do some damage to my pen. So I don't know, something. Maybe blurring that up would soften it up. Yeah, did that on the wrong layer. Okay, try that again. I was wondering why those clouds weren't blowing up. So yeah, that's the one issue, is making sure you're on the right layer. But at least you have the delete key. So let's see. Cloud. 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 And let's see. Let's give it some fogging. use my mouse. I'm using a pen and tablet to try and do some goofy drawings. That's how I kind of sketched that road thing. Not very good at it, at sketching or anything. But don't need to be. This is mostly just concept art. I go soften it up, even though it's still really derpy looking. Doesn't matter. Okay. So now, what the concept is, what I'm going to do for this little animations, is I'm going to have the camera zoom in on that tumbleweed, and it's going to look at the tumbleweed, and it's going to roll across this. It was supposed to be a road with dirt underneath it, but it looks more like a cookie. Cookie. But so we're gonna watch the road go by. We're gonna watch the tumbleweed roll. Maybe I'm not gonna do anything too fancy like bouncing or anything. The cactus is gonna move slowly in the background because it's off in the distance doing some parallaxing, and then there's gonna be clouds moving even slower. I don't know. But I'm also gonna make this video 1080p just because I think that's more of a standard now. Because considering the 4K age is not too far off before that becomes standard definition too. So this is 180 pixels high, even though I'm zoomed out by like 40%. It's 180 thingies. Yeah, 180 pixels high. And it's 920 for the screen, but I made it twice that big so that I can have space to move across without making it look blurry like I did in my other animation thingy. Also, this is my second time animating, so I don't know exactly how to animate. So, anyways, so to take advantage of the feature of the computer would entail being able to use layers. So to have like each part moving differently, they have to be different things, different images or vectors. Now I use Synfig, which is going to be mostly vectors. And you can see there's some weird graphical thing going on with that. No, because I had to stop this video and restart because I figured out I did something wrong because I've done little to no work with this before. But anyways, so just a simple painting is all it's going to need for concept art, just to show how things move. So I'm going to make an image of the sky, export, and I already saved a file, but I kind of screwed up. Need a PNG portable network graphic, which allows me to keep the transparency. Save. Yes, I would like to replace. And I had to, actually I only had this set off, or it was like this, and it made the background black, and I'm gonna sneeze. I can feel it. That's gonna happen eventually in this video now. So, store the anvil channel, which the background image, the sky, doesn't have one. But, saving, okay, there we go. Now I'm going to have to cactus, export, portable and network graphics, cactus, yes. Okay, keep my alpha. I was really confused why I was missing it. And okay, the cactus has like two parts, the image and a shadow effect. And I put it in a folder. I did not do that with the road. But it's basically a way of organizing things. And it's really important in Synfig to take advantage of that, because the way Synfig works is basically your animation is following one big equation. And the mathematical operations go left from right or from bottom to top, or top down. It affects everything below it. But to kind of organize your mathematics, you have to use parentheses to be able to dictate what really goes on, what goes first. And so that's what grouping does in the Synfig. I won't go into explaining exactly the process of animation, but the video is more about showing off the different things that kind of like steps, kind of what it takes to get an animation, a simple animation out there. I'm not going to be working on sound effects in this video, but I just used I don't know, might show that off. Let's say weed, tumbleweed, yes, and get my alpha. Okay, yes, And yeah, like I thought I messed something up. Oh, my screen went black, apparently. Let's see if I can't get a... I don't know what that was. So desktop. So Audacity, that's what I used to mess around with the sound. Again, this is free. The program I used for the art, that was Krita. Krita with a K. And so yeah, I like that one just because it's really good with my tablet. GIMP, however, is like really great for doing all sorts of editing to images to make them nice and pretty. So I definitely recommend getting that. These are free programs, of course, and yeah, free stuff. And everything I'm using is free. So Synfig. Now Synfig is supposed to be this. The way I read it was this. It was this awesome animation program that that they never finished, and so it kind of got to the public domain and stuff, and the community's been working on it, and I do not like it. Like, at least it has layering, but it more professional, or at least like stuff you would actually have to pay for, has a proper interface for working with this. But Synfig is really not too friendly. And if you go get Synfig, you saw that there's a warning message that popped up. That's because of you resized this thing, which is what most people do because it's in so many different windows, which is really annoying to me. I hate that. I feel like I'm using a Linux machine, and I don't like that. So to keep it from crashing on you, you want to uncheck that box. But that's just a tip. Okay, oh wait, let me check. What size is this? Yep. Okay, good. Good. Because, like I said, I go for 1080p as a standard. And you want to close all of these windows except this one. If you close this one, this is basically the whole program. But you go to File, and you go to Panels, and you want horizontal dock. That's the only thing you really need so far. But don't confuse this file with a regular file. It's not. Pretty much everything you're going to need is actually this little caret right here. It's really dumb design. I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, I think it's a very ineffective design. Very unuser-friendly. Took me a lot of videos before I figured that out. So let's go to import. See, this is the real stuff, the real toolbar. Import. And I can only import these one at a time, so File, Import. So yeah, you can use whatever painting, doesn't matter. And you can do more advanced stuff once you get into vectors. I'm going to hold Control and zoom out. And so I'm going to look at my layers. Like I said, the top layers go on top of the bottom one, so I want the background sky to go here. Now I can't see everything because this is my viewing window and everything's off here. And so, can I do... No. Okay, yeah. And, let's see. How to organize this. Because I want to look at the weed with everything else in the background moving slowly. So... Okay, so I'm just gonna do some basic translation, movement, and rotation. Let's see, I'm gonna group that. This is those parentheses I was talking about, how you organize it. What do I do? I put a group in a group. Can I do that? Yes, okay. And put in a group. So, what I'm going to do is right click on this, add a new layer, and the type of layer we want is a mathematical operation. I'm gonna need two types. I need a translate and I need a rotation. Now I'm not too sure which one is going to go on top first. I'm thinking translation. I just move this around. And I'm gonna move this up a bit. No, wait, I'm gonna move this down a bit. Rotate. Now I'm gonna move the rotation to the center of the weed. Okay, so the concept with that is the translation moves the image around. I could kind of move the image with I guess this thing. Didn't want to too much, but and then rotate. I don't know, there's different ways you go about doing mathematical operations with images. But those are actually mathematical operations. Now, why I put everything else in a group is I'm going to have the road move faster than the background. And if I just put a moving translation on top of the road that makes it really fast, it's also going to make everything behind it really fast. And the only thing to kind of counter that is to make like a... Actually, I think I might be able to get away with something. So I'm gonna gonna get rid of these groups. Cactus, you go down one. So above the road, gonna put in a new layer. Transform and translate. So that's gonna move the road around, or it's gonna move everything around. And the reason I'm using translate is just because it works better than the animation than rather having to do the whole moving the whole images, and kind of this way it affects everything. Gonna put a translate here, and what I'm gonna do with these other translators, I'm gonna make them move in the opposite direction, but slower than the translation for the road. That way, like, they kind of subtract from the total high speed of the road to make it slow down a bit. Same thing with the sky. But like I said, I'm not going to be explaining too much about how animation works or how this program works. I'm just kind of showing the process. Hopefully, trying not to keep this too long. 17, almost 18 minutes so far. So, now, let's see. I'm going to make this file. Options, units, close, animation mode, maybe that'll help. Options, time, close. How do I set the time? Properties, there we go. Okay, okay, these numbers are all good. I need 33 frames per second, that's what we're gonna need. And let's make this 3 seconds. I think that's, let me do the math on that. So that's about 99 frames. I don't know why I had to use a calculator to figure that out. So now our timeline is reading correctly. So we have animation mode on. Good. Let's keyframe. Okay. And let's just get this, see what the road looks like when we move it all the way to the end. All the way. Let me Control Z. Where's my layer? This is why I don't like these Windows things, because they disappear from you. So I'm going to click this translate, move it all the way over here, while holding shift to make sure I keep it horizontal. Get back here. So I'm not doing anything too fancy. So if we look, scroll through, because I'm in animation mode, it gives a little preview what happens. So with that, we have a rough idea of how the tumbleweed needs to move. Group. Rotate. Is that letter? Oh, God. No. Let's see. So it's not too fast, but it is going to have actual frames. Frame rate. Let's see, put a keyframe at the end. Now we got a kind of record of the motion of everything. Ba-doop. I don't know why I keep stopping. Where are we at? Okay, so I'm gonna save this because it does crash my computer a lot, and I don't know if that's an issue with my computer or with Synfig. But before you ever go to like preview it or render it, I'd recommend saving all your progress. New folder. Sure, why not? Save. Okay, go to this caret file. Preview. Yeah, preview. Make this nice and big so it's doing a lower quality. Just to oh, I guess that's just what 3 seconds looks like. Maybe. Maybe. Why aren't we moving? Put that back there. I think that's decent enough. Now to make the cactus in the sky move slower. So to make them move slower, let's see, that's this one right here. Gonna move it a little bit that way. And click this again. And then move this one a little bit that way. And the reason for that is because the other translation that moves everything that way is going to be going further and faster. Let's save to make sure it doesn't crash on us. Preview, and very hard time telling what's going on there. Okay, yeah, I see it rotating now. So we can see how the cactus moves slower, and the cactus moves and the clouds behind it move, but the clouds slowly move. Now it's very kind of hard to tell when it's pixelated, but that's it working. So let's render it now. So for actually making the video, Synfig doesn't really have an output for that. Okay, it has digital video, it has, I think this might be work, and then it has GIF. GIF is very, you know, GIF, but the color scale of GIF is very limited. And this, nor this works on my computer, and I tried working to get the program for that working, but nope. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a JPEG, and what it's going to do is it's going to render every image, every frame, and we can see that here. So it's rendering every frame. And to make that a video, we're going to use Windows Movie Maker, which for some reason it took me a while. I had to get some drivers to get my computer to work, but again, I'm using Windows 10. I've had to do this working around the limitations of my computers. If you can get things to work with like Synfig or other things to work, go for it. If not, here's my method. So probably over 20 minutes. 26. Oh. So it's going to keep rendering the frames. And like I said, I'm not going to work on explaining how to make the sound effect or anything, but just kind of how to get it composite from paintings, whatnot, to being animated in a thing. So file rendered successfully. Took 45 seconds. So I can close that, and now we want Windows Movie Maker. Movie Maker. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add photos and videos. Go and actually find them. And here's how you make it. So let's see, what's it called? It's called what's it called? Synfig. That did all the work of animating all the images. So all we have to do is load them up into here. Now here's this issue. Watch what happens if you play, or look at the time. 11 minutes, 33 seconds. It's going to be like a preview presentation, so that's not what we want. So what we do is we're going to make each thing last one frame, and to do that we click this, move by that much, a little bit, set endpoint. Then we move into the next image, and you see it went from 0.7 to 0.10, so it only changes by 0.03 of a second. Hence, dividing 1 by 0.03 is about 33 frames per second. That's why we rendered at 33 frames per second. But we select endpoint, and that box is highlighted. We click this, and it goes to the next image. And that's literally what I had to do for all 240 frames of that other animation, is I would have to jump, do this, do this, do this, just keep jumping, and that's what I have to do for every image. So it is a bit tedious, but I guess it gets the work done. I mean, it does make it 33 frames per second, which is faster than the typical 24 frames per second. So it is a bit smooth. And once you're done with doing all of this, then you just add the soundtrack after you've played around making audio. But this video isn't going to explain that. Now, as I keep doing this, I'm going to try and figure out how I can distract you, just so that I can actually finish this and show you the final result. But yeah, how's your weekend been? Now, yeah, I have no idea what to say. But yeah, that's generally the process that took to at least get that animation working. And I know most of the people who are helping with this project are mostly doing paintings or art. So if you can paint like one object, like a concept of it, and make different images of it, preferably a PNG so that it has transparency. Like I wouldn't use Microsoft Paint because the transparency on that is going to be white no matter, or it's going to have a background no matter what. You can't really deal with that. So that's why I recommend programs like GIMP 2.8, and Krita, or Paint Tool, whatever it's called, I don't remember. But I haven't really played with Paint Tool. I really like Krita and GIMP so much more. And for actually making cleaner, here's the note. So Synfig likes to work with vectors, which is how you can express shapes and things mathematically, and in that way you can like move them around and scale them without them ever having to lose the resolutions, unlike a rasta image like this, which if you saw in like first animation I made, it was kind of mostly gray and bluish, and that's because I literally zoomed up on a stick figure face. It was all stick figures is what I used. But yeah, just rough sketches to kind of show off a concept like tumbleweed rolling and moving and the camera following it. Like making notes about that. That's what you're going to need when you're working on storylines. Now there's scripts, storylines, and storyboards, and then animation. The script is basically this kind of the story, what people say. The storyline is like a walkthrough of what happens in the animation, kind of like the camera does this, like someone does a certain gesture or whatnot. Like it describes it more than what would be in like a book or a fan fiction. It does it more than that. And the reason for that is so that you can draw concept art and like images to figure out what's going on visually by using actual visuals. And then with that you make a storyboard, which is basically an image by image version of what the animation is supposed to look like. If I haven't talked about that enough already, I like to talk about that, but I don't know. I feel like I make these videos way too long because I'm probably at 30 minutes right now. Yeah, 32 minutes. So that's... I would love to keep videos under 12 minutes, but I talk too much and the processes are too much, and I don't have video editing software. I mean, I used to have Sony Vegas Pro, but that was not paid for, and my computer crashed and I lost a lot of stuff. So, still waiting for Windows 7 to come in the mail. And when it comes in the mail, then I can feel more secure with my computer not giving up on me. But yeah, that's just about me and my life. I don't know what goes on in yours. And I know that a few of you don't, or a few of you speak other languages like Arabic and Spanish. And so you seem to be commenting and posting in English decently well, but I don't know if you can actually understand what I'm saying in words or what my voice is. But I guess when I post this video, I'll ask the question if what I actually says makes sense. I could write captions, I suppose. That might help. But that'll take a lot of time. And it's almost 1 o'clock. You can't see it. It's right underneath my face. I think my face is in this area. But that's where the clock is. And I have a class in an hour or so. That's why I'm taking the time to make the video now. And here's the last frame. Okay, so if we go to the very end, and so it's like 3.330 seconds. Let me calculator. Okay, it might be safe just to go at 30 frames per second and not having to go 33. Doot, doot. Doot, 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 doot. So yeah, like my first animation, I made it 24 frames per second and was trying to figure out how to make it not PowerPoint. But if we play through, okay, so that explains what was going on with the tumbleweed. So that's a graphical glitch that I would have to fix, but this isn't anything official, anything. And at this point, I would move the cursor to the beginning and add music and sound. But I don't have anything in there. Just, audio. Like I don't even know. Let's do that. I'm gonna see what that sounds like. But yeah. So if anything, the only thing really to know after you figure out how to paint, and then after you figure out how to paint, you figure out how to animate. Let's see. So let's save the project. Save. Now let's export. Save movie as a high definition and put it in our folder. Save. It's gonna do its thing. Okie dokie. Way. So we get to look at our goofy animation, but yeah, at least it's working. So that's kind of the process of doing that, where you have to get some basic resources down, like you get the art down or whatever, like you make pieces of it. You can make a whole scene and then break it up into pieces like I did, where I had layers with cactuses and whatnot. You can do whatever, and then you export that as images, or like in my first animation I had clouds, but those were made with vectors. But Synfig doesn't handle vectors exactly well. Like Inkscape is what I use for vectors. It's also free. That's like how you do the same type of cartoon type of thing that they do for the show. And Synfig doesn't handle the information the same. So like if you make this path out of a shape in a something, or out of a stroke, and change it to look right so that like clouds have more details, or there's lines going inside scrolling up, it's not going to handle that right unless you mess around with some decently challenging stuff. But yeah, I'm almost at 40 minutes, so I'll stop here and yeah, okay dokie, and stop.